Yo, what up, Toshi here. In today's video, we're going to be trying out the newest Jingliu buffs. I'm not going to say new because I actually have not taken a look at the buffs, and it's been out for quite some time now, right? We were talking like a month plus since the patch dropped, and I am a little late to the party, but never is better than ever. I don't know what I'm saying here. We're going to be taking a look at Jingliu post-buff and see how good she is. Long story short, from what I remember looking at leaks, she became an HP scaling character, which is honestly really good in the current meta for her, just because she's going to work really nice along some of the HP buffing characters, and also really nice with some of the other characters that buff damage, and not just like the attack buffers, right, which she previously worked with, but the character got so much attack, so she was dependent on having a damage booster like Ruame, for instance, to maximize the damage she dishes. Well, now you only really need a damage buffer and a character like Tribi, which again we'll show in just a moment. But let's take a look at exactly what happened with Jingliu's kit and what changed post buff. Video sponsored by Eneba. Eneba is pop-up site, but not just your everyday one. Eneba essentially allows you to not only save up to 30% on your top-up purchases, but also allows you the option to save on the trendy games too. It's a pretty massive marketplace, to put in short. I do want to save via top-ups or star rail, so let's just do that. Type star rail in the search bar and choose your preferred amount of Enuric shards. Enter your server and UID via the top right side corner, and after entering your payment, you will receive your in-game top-up. The cashback bonus also allows you to save even more. It's honestly kind of nice. Check out the link in the description to save on your Enuric shards, and thanks to Eneba for sponsoring this video. So long story short, her abilities now deal damage on her max HP, so she's HP scaling. When a teammate's HP gets reduced, Jingliu will get increased crit damage and gain syzygy. Interesting. That is, okay, this right here is really important for a character like Highest Sign with her central icon, right? Because she drains the HP of the team. But this also means she's really good with Custoris, which we're going to try out. I'm actually excited for that one. After entering the Spectral Transmigration state, increase the syzygy stack limit and gains 1 stack of syzygy. So basically, they took her Eidolon 6 and put it into her base kit, which is very nice. So you basically have a E6 Jingliu with a ton of extra damage because now she's HP scaling, and she increases her crit damage when you like drain HP, right? Or Custoris drains the HP, which is honestly really nice. So I don't even think we need to really look into the rest of her kit, because this is all we really need to know of the character. Obviously, Jingliu is still the same core damage dealer she is. Drain HP of your teammates, deal damage, get syzygy stacks, right? Same old character, but now she gets syzygy stacks a lot easier, which is actually pretty nice. So for my Jingliu, we have 56 crit rate, 202 crit damage. Actually, does she still gets crit rate, right? Okay, yeah, she still gets crit rate. So we'll have 100% crit rate. Okay, I was wondering if that part of her kit still stayed the same. I am using the Quantum set with the Custoris planar set, not Genius Superstars, Bone Collection. I need to remember the name, Bone Collection, which increases the max HP and gives crit damage to the wearer, regardless of whether or not the wearer has a memory respite. So for Jingliu, this is massive, right? HP scaling, more HP, and now she has even more crit damage because of the planar set. And Quantum set is just really good in general. It does help that there is quantum weak enemies right now in the end game, but the defense ignore that you get from the Quantum set is really nice with her signature light cone, right? As it was back in the day, even when she was attack scaling. We're going to see how she hits. I think she's going to be probably like Silverwolf in terms of the best post-buff character I have on the account, because now she has a lot of synergy with the current best characters in the meta. So for the first team, I want to trade something like this. We have Custoris, Jingliu, Highest Sign, and Tribi. Highest Sign heals a ton, gives a ton of HP to the team. Jingliu and Custoris drains the HP, but Custoris draining HP is really nice. Highest Sign, if she had her signature light cone, to give more syzygy stacks by draining HP of the team. But this team should be really good because Custoris works really nice with sub DPS characters. Is why she's good with My Day. She's really good with Blade, who I haven't tested yet post buff, so we'll probably save him for a different video. Now we are fighting a Quantum Weak boss, so we're going to take advantage of the Quantum Genius of Brilliant Stars relic set that she has to get more defense ignore from the, final damage. Oh, I also have Tribi E1 now, so she's going to hit like a truck with Tribi E1. Let Custoris do the dragon thing. I actually am curious to see how this team turns out. I imagine it like wouldn't be as good as having another buffer for Custoris or Jingliu. Well, probably Custoris, because Custoris is like the best damage dealer in the game right now, pretty much, arguably. So obviously having another buffer for her would be nicer than having a character like Jingliu that doesn't really buff. She does drain the HP of the team though, which is helping Custoris out. I mean, we're doing a little bit, like, she's doing sub damage dealer damage. She's draining the HP, which is helping Custoris. So, I mean, it's a traditional dual DPS team, but it's a better dual DPS team in the current meta because HP scaling and these characters just deal more damage, right? I mean, of course, we will get more mileage out of Ruan Mei again for Custoris' vital damage. This is what it's all about with having dual DPS. I would also like for Jingliu to be a little faster. I think because you are in a team... Dude, she has 10,000 HP. Oh my god. I would like for her to be faster, though, because I believe in a team like this, you want to take advantage of the drain mechanic for Custoris. So you need to treat her like a support in the team, right? So making her fast, like 160 speed, is like pretty important. Or otherwise, you would just be better off running a different character. But that's going to be really hard to get speed that fast, if I'm being honest. I would have to change her relic, her planar sets and everything. It's just too much to worry about. It does help if you have like E2 of highest sign, because then you get more speed. Okay, so I think we're going to see how, like, I imagine in terms of cycles, this team would be a lot like slower than the other teams, right? Other core teams of Custoris. But I mean, all it's really about post buff for these characters is just them becoming viable in the current meta, which is the most important thing. Her numbers do seem like her numbers are higher for her not having a second buffer, I guess, in the team. She does have a buffer in the form of Tribi and highest sign giving HP increase. Like, she does have a buffer. But I mean like a dedicated buffer, like a Sunday, for instance, increasing her damage. Because she can still be played as a hyper carry character. Also, I'm trying to remember, did I read it wrong? So if you have Blade in the team, does Blade now work better with her post buff, giving her more synergy stacks? And also, she's permanently in the synergy state, which is pretty nice. Back then, you needed, like, in order for her to stay in the synergy state, you not only needed Ting Yun, you needed Huo, you needed like you needed so many different characters that gave energy for her to stay in the synergy state. Like Sunday was also pretty nice during her release because he gave energy to the character he buffed with his ult. But the problem is with Jingliu, at that point, she was already pretty bad. So even though Sunday was a net positive for the character was just in a horrible state. Like, you know, in-game wise. That's a high damage hit. That's our highest yet. 300k in a dual DPS team is not bad at all. So I think this is probably going to be her best team for me personally. I think if I use her in a hyper carry team, unfortunately, I wouldn't get much mileage out of her. I feel like. So I low-key don't want to disappoint myself and put her in a hyper carry team. I can try it with Sunday, but I don't think it'll be that good unless, you know, you're running a 0-cycle triple harmony character setup team. Even though highest sign is super good for her because of the HP increase and everything. But man, just being able to stay in the synergy state is phenomenal. Massive buffs for the character. So it seems like we're going to finish in 27 cycles, which is pretty good. Really high damage numbers too. Wow. Okay. So this is including Tribi E1, 700,000 in a dual DPS setup. That is not bad at all. And I'll be honest, like, this is the maximum damage I'll be able to get out of the character because I'm using a quantum set, which is super competitive to her best in slot set. And I'm using the best planar set she can use. So that's going to be like the peak of her damage unless you have more eidolons for the character, so on and so forth. Well, actually, to be fair, my tracers are not fully maxed. Like, her talent is 8 out of 10. And her ultimate level is 8 out of 10 as well. So maybe she can have a little bit more damage. Oh, wait. Okay, she gets defense ignore now as part of her bonus ability. Well, this wasn't there. She gets more energy too. Increased ultimate damage deal. She still has the effect res from her base kit, right? Like pre-buff. Okay. That's actually pretty nice. Yeah, no, I was wrong. Jingliu Sunday is actually really good. Post buff, this character is a monster. She actually clears in the same amount of time as some of the in-game best teams. I think her buffing attack is one of the worst things for the character because, again, it makes her less flexible of a character. If she buffed damage, right, and gave skill damage, right, just a whole bunch of damage percent, I think she'd be a little better to have in general because she'd be more flexible and be better with HP scaling characters that deal damage based on their skill, like Jingliu, for instance. But because that's not the case, it just sucks, right? Because she's not as flexible. But that's it. Thank you for watching and have a nice rest of your day. Thanks again to Eneba for sponsoring today's video. Bye-bye.